Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone doing? How is everyone doing? Today we're going to have a fascinating conversation. I'm going to give everyone a minute or two to come in. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being here. Okay. I'm waiting for everyone to come in. Hey, Connor, what's up? Okay. All right. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. You know how it goes. I am here waiting for people to come in. As you come and leave a comment. Hey everyone, thanks for coming in. Just remember to come in, leave a comment. Okay, as you come in, leave a comment. We're gonna start off with some fun things before we actually get started. As you come and leave a comment. As you come and leave a comment. All right, one more minute and we're gonna get started. And thank you for everyone being here. Okay, everyone, thank you all for being here. We're going to get started because we have a lot of information to present. And before I get started, I thought this was really fascinating. Now, anyone could tell me why this is really fascinating? Can anyone tell me why this is really fascinating? And let's start by doing roll call. Let's do some roll call here. Hey, Connor, Jennifer, Andrea, Rasta, Ngozi, Positive, Girly, Avia, Maxine. Welcome. Thank you, Connor. Thank you, Connor. Okay, thank you. And people need to understand that the unholy trinity, absolutely, where The real Egyptian, well done, Avion. The real Egyptian teaching was about life. And these people have taken, these entities have taken the Egyptian, what's the word I'm looking for? The Egyptian spirituality about death. And they've brought death to the forefront, negating that much of the Egyptian spirituality is about life, right? So, all right, you guys see? So Snoop Dogg is going to be at Trump's inauguration ball. And you know, ball is Baal, Baal, ball. Anyway, he's going to sing Bob Marley, and he's going to sing Everything is going to be all right. I'm not calling Snoop Dogg any names. Okay, but that's just something you should think about, right? He said everything is going to be all right. Okay, so that's where we're going to start on that. I thought that was interesting. I also thought this was interesting too. Sorry, I can't make this bigger, but we're going to get started. But does everyone remember when I did the theme on Atlantis and how the Atlanteans wrote, how they wrote using invisible ink? Yes, Baal, the Canaanite deity, absolutely. Does anyone remember my teachings on the Atlantean invisible ink? So this is Notre Dame. Notre Dame is a Templar church that was burnt and then it resurrected out of the ashes. And one of the ways they, in part of the ceremony, they used this type of invisible ink. And look at the DJ's, his board, his DJ, his mixer. Look at it. Look at the symbol. You see the X? You see the invisible ink? Who was the one that taught you about that invisible ink? Remember the cartoon I showed you with Atlantis and the invisible ink? You guys remember? And then the Aztec charging, he woke up the demon and the demon sent the invisible ink. Yeah, remember? Andrea, do you remember me teaching you about this? That they can use the grid and then send the power through the grid and it wakes up and it looks like invisible ink and what was hidden all of a sudden comes to light. Why are they using the exact same thing in this church? By the way, Trump went to the ceremony. And the inside of the church was designed after a big black spider. And look at the DJ's mixer. There's a big X. X is Marduk. But X is also the seething powers. They call it the seething energies of Heka, which is the occult sciences of Egypt. Heka, Heka. Huh? Think about that. Right? I just thought that was really interesting for you guys to take a look at. Now, okay, this is me. Let me just move this over here. We're going to get started. Okay. That's something else. All right. So we're going to get started on what's important for today. You know how we do. Oops. Need to make this bigger, one page. There we go. Okay. So today we're going to teach. Let's see if I need to make this bigger. I might need to make this bigger. Hold on. Sorry about that. Okay. This is the most important thing. Okay, everyone press 1 if you're ready. Right, the Egypt, exactly. Haka or Heka, Heka, which is still practiced today by the people in Sudan. It's still practiced today all along the eastern border of Africa, Egypt all the way down. They still practice Heka. All right, everyone's ready. Okay, great. So the most important thing, the most important gift I can give you is how to detect a Decepticon. Okay? This is the most important gift I can give you, because it is. Okay, thank you, positive frequency. I'm going to write that down. Because, oh, by the way, 2025, hold on. 2025, our group training for 2025 is all, it's going to be about movies. I'm going to give you the movies, and we are going to do classes. Our group training is going to be about the movies. So you're going to have homework, and everyone is going to have to speak or type. So group training in 2025 is where we use movies to educate and prepare ourselves for what the system lords, the Baals, are planning, right? So I'm going to give you guys the movies in a couple of days for us to study in order for us to have the group training, right? Okay, so that's 2025. Let's get started. The most important gift I can give for you, for yourself and for your children, your progeny, is you've got to be able to detect the Decepticon. It is the number one thing you have to do. The agents of deceit. Okay? There is nothing more important than you being able to detect someone who's not sincere, or groups or individuals of people who are not sincere. You're following? And the reason why this is important is because what the system lords are doing is they're using very sophisticated AI to hive people and to weed out people in order to further their agenda. Okay? And one of the main things they're telling people is the worst thing you could possibly tell them, which is trust and savior programming. The trust program and the savior program. Okay, let me say this again. The two main things that they're hiving people into is the trust program and the savior program, both of which are going to destroy you. Right? These are the two main strategies of the Decepticons. It is okay. It is not a big deal to say you made a mistake. It's not a big deal to say you were wrong. It's okay. I do it all the time. It is not a big deal. The most intelligent thing you can do is recognize you're wrong, and recognize you're wrong early. You following? Recognize you're wrong. Oh, that's powerful. Thank you, Avion. And recognize you're wrong as soon as possible, and immediately make the steps to correct your wrong. It is okay to be wrong. It is okay to acknowledge that you were wrong. It is not okay to realize you're wrong and still make the same dumb decisions. Okay? Because dumb decisions today can cost you a lot. Those of you who have children, you must understand that it is okay, again, to be wrong. But what you don't want is for your wrong to lead you to be deceived. So let's get started. The most important thing we have to look for are the agents of deception. And the main place where they put the agents of deception is in the media and in the alternative media. Okay? That is where you're going to find the agents of deception. There was a script, and the Bible is a script. It is not the word of God. It is a script. That is why it's called a version. Notice the Bible is not called the original. It's called a version because it's a script that they're executing. The script warned you. Dr. Michael Aquino, who was the founder of the Temple of Set, he left the Temple of the Church of Satan, and he founded the Temple of Set. He is the one behind all of the deceptive operations to control your mind. He called it Psi Wars or Mind Wars. Do not go look into Michael Aquino. Do not read his books. Michael Aquino is of the Temple of Set, and his books may actually, jam you up. I'm just using him as a reference. One of the things Michael Aquino said was, our objective is to make both sides believe they're winning and destroy them both. And Michael Aquino said, Dr. Michael Aquino, he said that the battlefield was not some foreign country. The battlefield going forward is the mind. And he wrote and created Psi Wars and Mind Wars. And what was Michael Aquino's job in Fort Bragg? Michael Aquino's job in Fort Bragg was to create all the psychological operations for the whole beast. He had other jobs as well, but we're not here for his other jobs. I'm just telling you in relation to Decepticon, this is what you need to understand. So Michael Aquino said, we have to make both sides believe they're winning and then destroy them both. And the way in which we do that is psychological wars against the mind. And the main psychological architecture against the mind is to deceive people. Let's get started. The word deceive here is a verb. Deceived, past tense, deceived, past participle. The meaning: to cause someone to believe something that is not true. To cause, this is an action. Someone, this is a noun. To believe and act something, a noun, that is not true. Meaning, you're going to alter a person's perception into believing something that is not there is there. Something that is a lie is the truth. Now watch this. Usually this is done to gain personal advantage. Money, contracts, in this case, to bring in the Fourth Reich. Okay? Give a mistaken impression. This is all perception. This is the realm of Dr. Michael Aquino. Altering a person's perception to make them believe something that is not true is true. And also deceive is also sexual. Deception has sexual connotations to it. So the whole mark of deception is a mind war. Mind fuck the person. That is what you're doing. You're mentally raping the person. Renetta, these are such harsh language. That is what deception does. Deception mentally rapes the person. Why? Because an individual without deception will use their own free will to make a decision. Free will is important. When you add a layer of deception, that person is no longer using their free will, their intelligence, their knowledge to make a decision. They are now making a decision through the perceptive rapist. Deception is mental rape. This is not a joke. This is what mind wars is about. It's mentally raping people. A rapist disarms a person's power. Power to protect themselves, power to say no, power to make their own decision. A mental rapist does the same. This is why deception is so bad. And this is why it is the number one thing we must prepare ourselves for 2025 to 2030. Is everyone on earth today? Do I have your attention? And I would love for you guys to leave comments. Okay, part 2. Now, this is the script called the Bible. The reason why I do not believe in the Bible is because a version is not the original. Okay, it doesn't mean there isn't truth in the Bible. No, there is a lot of truth in the Bible. And I'm beginning to realize that King Solomon was Thoth the Atlantean, but that's just my personal opinion. But there's a lot of truth in the Bible. Unfortunately, they told you this is a version, meaning this is a script we're playing with. And because it's a version, and because that version is called a script, I'm not basing my life on that. You can, I'm not. And I'm not going to judge you for it. Now, this is what Thessalonians said. 2 Thessalonians 2:9-12. Watch this. And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, that is the ones who love death, the ones who die, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. Now, it's telling you here that they that perish, okay, they that perish, the ones who are dying, okay, they are filled with deception because their actions are corrupt. Did you catch that? People, listen to me. You cannot be excusing people's actions going 2025 into 2030. I'm sorry, you just can't. It's too dangerous. It tells you here that the ones who worship death, who are dying, are totally deceived because of their actions. The second reason why they are dying, they are bound, they are contracted with death, is because they do not love the truth. If you don't love the truth, you love lies. It doesn't say if you don't speak the truth, because some of them speak the truth. No. Anybody can speak the truth, but loving the truth and living a life of truth is different. Okay, now this one says, be not deceived, evil communications corrupt good manners. Let's look at communications. Communications are words. Can anybody else tell me how we communicate in 2025? I want you to write ways in which we communicate. 2025. Anyone, write. Ways in which we communicate in the modern era. I'm not moving until I get an answer. It says, be not deceived. Evil communications corrupt good manners. Social media. Thank you, Twisted. We text, we call on phones, we emails, internet, radio, television, magazines, newspapers. Be not deceived. Evil communications corrupt good manners. So it's telling you You got to pay attention to what the Decepticons in the media and in the alternate media are communicating to you, because evil communications leads to deception and corruption. Now, with this one is action oriented. I personally do not believe there's anything wrong with gay people. This is my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Some of the most beautiful people I have ever encountered were gay people. And some of the most wicked, godless people I ever encountered were religious people. So in my personal opinion, I go with the person's actions. Okay? But here's another one that talks about deception. Be not deceived. Fornicators, idolaters, yada, yada, yada. No abusers of themselves with mankind. Okay? So they're saying they're not going to enter the kingdom of heaven. Another reason why I don't believe that gay people should be condemned is because, once again, this is a script. I do not believe that gay people are inherently evil, and no one is going to convince me otherwise. I need to see people's actions, but that's me. You make your own decisions. This one I found fascinating about deception. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. Whatsoever you sow into the ground, you will also reap. So there is something about deception and action, which is what I was telling you before. But the most important thing, because everyone loves Jesus, this man known as Jesus, I thought that this one was the most powerful one, because Jesus was saying that in relation to the script of the end times. Listen to what Jesus said. Jesus answered unto them and said, listen, take heed that no man deceive you. Did you catch that? No man deceives you. Be careful. Don't let any man deceive you. Jesus said, they said, what is the mark of the end times? And their Jesus, in their Bible, I use these as reference points. Their Jesus, in their script, their version of Jesus said, don't let any man fool you. That is the mark of the last days. Let me say that again. Jesus said the end of the age will be where men deceive each other because of bad actions and profit. Okay? The reason why we're focusing on the media and the alternative media is because they are the two main communicators. They are the two largest systems that communicate to the masses. The mainstream media and the alternative media. And in my opinion, both are filled with Decepticons. Jesus said the mark of the last day is don't let any man sway you from what you know is good, true, and right. So that means you don't look outward for a savior. Your savior must be action-oriented from the inside. Now, what is a Decepticon? The term came from Transformers. You can go look at the Transformer series. You can look at what a Decepticon is. And a Decepticon was a cyborg alien army that was on Earth. They made contracts with parts of the government and parts of the military. And when, in all actuality, they wanted to exterminate the human race and take out the robot race that was trying to help the humans. And they did that by deception. A Decepticon is someone generated, created, and sent by the system lords. We're talking about Decepticons as it relates to us. Or someone taken over. A person could start off as true, and then they get caught up with the Decepticon army, and then they get converted. So a Decepticon is someone generated, created, taken over, infiltrated, and sent by the system lords to people like us who are waking up and seeking the truth. Decepticons are deceivers. You cannot let them persuade you with 60% truth, 40% lies. Decepticons are deceivers, and their job is to promote deception. The groups that Decepticon, these people, are highly intelligent. Be very careful of highly intelligent people. I'd rather be with a person who is not as intelligent, but spiritually and emotionally intelligent, as opposed to mentally intelligent, and it's all programs running in their heads from a system lord. Look for someone who's spiritually and emotionally intelligent, or walking in the direction of spiritual and emotional intelligence. Decepticons are highly intelligent people. Decepticons target those who are newly awakened, because a person who's newly awakened is trying to understand the world around them in its true form and who's behind it. So Decepticons are sent to target those newly awakened people and drag them back, hive them back to the system lords. This is the most important thing that Decepticons do. If there is anything I ever tell you, it's this. Decepticons always lead the people to false saviors. If the Decepticon is telling you this person is coming to save you, listen to me, there is no external savior. None. Are we going to have those who help us? Yes. Are there going to be people who are high up in the pyramid who will want to help humanity? Yes. But that's not a savior. That's a helper. Decepticons always lead you to someone outside of yourself. You know why? Because a Decepticon never wants you to go within. A Decepticon never wants you to clean up the garbage in you. The Decepticon always points to an external savior. The saviors are always lawless. And the lawless one will break all sorts of laws and get away with it. And the Decepticon army will jump through hoops to defend the lawless one. Decepticon will always lead you to an external savior who's false. The saviors are 99% wolves. The saviors are lawless. And the saviors are always money-oriented. They never promote a person who is right action-oriented, meaning I am not going to harm my neighbor, and I don't give a damn what you tell me. I am not hurting my neighbor, whether my neighbor is here or whether my neighbor is in a foreign country. I am not causing harm to my neighbor unjustly. Decepticon will never tell you that. A Decepticon will always point you to a false savior and a false system that is always asking you for money. And the most important thing about a Decepticon is they hate unity. You cannot achieve the Fourth Reich New World Order with the people united against the beast. The Decepticon will always, always, always cause division. And the reason why they always cause division is to point people away from seeing that they're Decepticons. Is everyone following this? Okay? Let me know if you're following, or did I lose you guys? Let me know if you're following, or did I lose you? Thank you, Andrea. Anybody else? Okay, wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, now you have to be able to spot a Decepticon. Okay, through communications. Okay, the Decepticon always excuse evil behavior. Okay, if a person's action is rotten, anyone jumping through hoops say, oh, they didn't know, oh, they were deceived. What are they, 5 years old? Oh, and the person is not making the action to correct it. It's not the evil behavior. After a person does an evil behavior, you got to watch to see, ah, shit, I made a mistake. Let me correct this mistake. The Decepticons always excuse and promote evil behavior. You got to pay attention to this, guys. We're going into the Fourth Reich. The Decepticons hate people who tell the truth with a pure heart. The Decepticons don't hate people who tell the truth. No, they love people who tell the truth with deception. They hate the people who tell the truth, and it's from a clean, pure heart. Decepticons gravitate to evil communication systems. Microchips are a communication system. Femtotech are communication systems. Algorithms or AI are communication systems. Nanotech, nano networks, implants, apps that you use to relay messages are communication systems. Speech, words, print media, neuro-linguistic programming, alternative media, engines, videos, vlogs, radio, television, internet are all communication systems. Decepticon master the communications network, and they get the algorithms in their favor. One of the ways you could tell a Decepticon is, does the algorithm favor them? Don't listen to them saying, oh, they're after me. Oh, they're persecuting me. Oh, bullshit. If the person has algorithmic favor, they're a Decepticon. Okay. Decepticon communications, pay attention. When a Decepticon is done with the sheep ends up evil, filled with hate, and corrupt. Check your heart to see if there is love in it. Let me test you. When I put this word on the screen, how do you feel about these people? If you hate those people, you have Decepticon programming installed in your head. Let me put another one. If you hate these people, you have Decepticon programming installed in your head. I don't hate the Jews. I hate their wicked agenda. Let me put another one. If you hate these people, you have Decepticon programming in your head. Let me put another one. If you hate those people, you have Decepticon programming in your head. And I'm just using this term just to get a point across. I know black people don't use the word black people, but I'm just using it as an example. If you hate black people, you have Decepticon programs in your head. If you hate the Chinese people, you have Decepticon programs in your head. If you hate white people, you got Decepticon programming in your head. You following what I'm saying? You can hate wicked groups for their wicked behavior. You can call out their wicked behavior. You could be disgusted by their actions. But you can't hate people for existing. Otherwise, the Decepticons got you. I don't hate the Jews. I hate their wicked ass behavior. Because it's anti-human and it's godless. You see the difference? I don't hate white people, but the Nazi agenda, I hate. You're following the difference? You got to check your heart to see if your heart still has love. Because even the script says, hey, in the last days, men's hearts are going to fail them. It's a script, people. Oh, the Bible is the absolute word of God. No, it's not. On the book, it says version. On the book, it says scriptures. It's a script. You don't have to follow the evil in the script. Okay. Now, Decepticon agents love to turn the pure in heart into spyware. The person is pure. The person is new. They're waking up. They're trying to get information. The Decepticon will corrupt those people. I've seen them do it. And the main place I saw them do it was in churches. They will corrupt those people and use them to spy on those who are pure in heart. Decepticons are no joke. Okay? Your number one battle between 2025 and 2030 is not skin color. It is not skin color. It is not religion. It's not race. You're dealing with Decepticons. These are programs that are installed in people in order to destroy civilization. Okay, we talked about Decepticons pointing people to external saviors. We talked about Decepticons never telling you the issue is your corruption inside. The Decepticons never want you to go and do the work to clean the junk out of your mind, your heart, your spirit. The Decepticon will never tell you, spend the time to get rid of the junk in your mind, in your heart, in your sex organs, in your bloodline. They say, hell no, get rid of that. No. The Decepticon always wants to point you, the savior's over here. The Decepticons are always sexual deviants and perverts. There has never been a time when I have not encountered a Decepticon that can control their sexual urges. When you get into the depth of the Decepticon army, they're always sexual perverts. Everything is associated with sex. They can't see anything else. You walk outside, there's a sexual connotation. You stand up, there's a sexual connotation. You sit down, anyone who cannot control their sexual desires is a control system by the Decepticons and are part of a hive. Sexual strength is one of the most powerful strengths you can have. And what does that mean? Being able to control your sexual desires. I didn't say you can't have sex. I didn't say don't masturbate. I'm not your mother. And I ain't your priest. But what I'm saying is, in the world that we're facing, 2025 to 2030, one of the main ways they infiltrate is through sex. And don't get me started, the entities that are built into some of these if I get into, I'm going to get into the entities that control the Decepticons. Sexual strength. Now, on the converse, there are those who are in secret orders who are Decepticons and they practice sexual purity. That is why you have to lean on their behavior. What is their overall behavior? Yeah? Okay. The Decepticons will sow evil, and if you mess with them, you're going to reap the evil and they reap the benefits. Whatever a Decepticon sows, someone is going to reap it. The reason why it is important for you not to be hived by the Decepticons is because whenever a Decepticon sows deceit, someone will reap the deception and the destruction. Don't let it be you. We talked about Decepticons pointing you to Savior. Decepticons always promote religion. You know why? Because religion is a system. They love systems. You know why they love systems? It's easy to overtake and overthrow. You know, when you go to the script, that is the version of the Bible, it always tells you that the prophets were these wild men. They were never in these temples. They were never doing any of these religious stuff. But they always tell you these wild prophets who were here, there, and everywhere, never doing any of these rituals. They were the closest to God. Why? Because they were not a part of the beast system. Okay? Decepticons never do inner work. The only time Decepticons do inner work is to become more corrupt. What does that mean? The Decepticon wants more and more powerful evil entities in them, and they do the reverse inner work, which is installing more deceptive, evil spirits in them. They don't lighten their spirits. They make it heavier. That's what evil entities do. It weighs you down. They weigh you down. They make you heavy. The key is light. Decepticons never actively purify themselves of their internal evil. Now, watch this. This is the biggest one. The Decepticons promote a false Christ. We're going to look at this one here. Let me show you the origin of the term Christ. Okay? Okay. According to, oops. Okay. Let's see if I need to make this bigger here. I might need to make this bigger. Let me make this bigger. Okay. Okay. According to the Egyptian scholar and spiritualist Gerald Massey, the original Egyptian Kemetic meaning of the term Christ, the word is not a Western word. The word is not a Middle Eastern word. The word Christ is an African word. Originally spelled Christ is mummy, like mother, like wrapped in bandages. It's important to note that the original ancient Egyptian written language, Medu Neter, did not have vowels in the writing system. So Christ or Christ, or Christ, because we don't have the vowels. The word Christ can be broken down into the following syllables: ka or rest. The k sound is pronounced ka, and it means spirit. The rest is pronounced rest, and it means rise. Thus, ka rest means rising spirit. Hopefully, not in the sense of a resurrected vampire, but in the transformative process that a person goes through. You know, from an egg to butterfly. It means ascension. That is the meaning of the word Christ. The European pronunciation of ka rest is Christ. It means ascension of the spirit, or merkaba. Therefore, the Christ is for everyone. What does that mean? The resurrection and ascension of the spirit is for everyone. That is going to piss off religious fundamentalists. But I don't care, because the original word Christ is not a European word. It is an African word out of Kemet. It means rising spirit. In India, where you get Krishna, same meaning. They call it the rising Kundalini. However, in the Krishna, they call the spirit rising up the spine, as in Kundalini is the rise of the serpent. That is how they interpret it. Whereas the Egyptian says the rise of the spirit. Christ is in you. And Christ is for everyone. Decepticons promote radical, racist Christ for only one group of people. This is utter garbage. Because if you're a human, you have a spirit. And everyone's spirit is allowed to resurrect and to ascend. Not everyone will rise, not everyone will ascend, but the opportunity is there for you. The notion that Christ is only for a specific group of people is nonsense when you look at the original meaning of the word. It means rising spirit, spirit rising. That's called ascension. Okay, Decepticons hate all other people but their own. And I've met quite a few of them. They even hate their own. Decepticons use the spirit realm to attack those who are pure. And most importantly, try to take away what is theirs. Decepticons always practice blood rituals. There is no two ways about it. This is what the Decepticons do, and it's in your script. Your script talks about the whore of Babylon, and that the whore of Babylon was the one who ran the, I can't say this one here, hold on. Not that I care, but I'm gonna type it. In the book of Revelation, it talks of the whore of Babylon being drunk on the blood of the saints. That is the highway of blood. Decepticons are participants in this, whether you know it or you don't. 2025 to 2030, you got to be aware of this. Now we're going to get into the second to last part. Sin. The real meaning of the word sin. Because the Bible, the Western Bible they gave you, is a version, people. It is not the original. The version they gave you, they said sin means to miss the mark. That is not the meaning of sin. This is because when they translated from the east to the west, They changed the meaning of words. They said sin means to miss the mark. That is not the meaning of sin. Okay? Europeans are not Semites. Europeans are Europeans. The Semitic languages, books, and scrolls have totally different meanings for words. But you have to understand, during the translation, they translated words to suit Western ideology. Yeah? What is sin? Sin is an actual Babylonian god. It is not an action-oriented word. Sin is a noun. It's a being. Did everyone catch that? Because I'm going back into the Decepticon. This is all tied into the Decepticon. Yes, Tin, you did your homework. Sin is a god of the moon. Tim did his homework. Sin is not an action. Sin is a noun. It's a person. Sin was worshipped in the homeland of Abraham, Ur of the Chaldees, and Haran. Abraham's father was a worshiper of sin. Did you catch that? Abraham's father, Terah, was a worshiper of sin. Moses never went to Sinai. Another lie, another mistranslation. Moses, who never existed, because he never existed, went to sin AI. You guys didn't catch that. Now are you understanding why the deception is going to be so bad in the next couple of years? Is anyone here? Yes, Kitless London. You got it. The Bluetooth MAC addresses. Okay. Sin, Sinai, is not the proper pronunciation. It is sin AI. Renetta, where are you going with this? Moses, who never existed, Tutmos, went to sin AI. Hold on. But if sin is a noun for an entity, what's the AI? Sin is an AI. Did you catch that? The God sin commits acts of lawlessness. Read James Casbolt's book about the AI and how it makes decisions. I didn't say worship James Casbolt. I said go back and read his book. It's Project Ibis. How the AI makes the decision. The Babylonian god Sin is an AI. Just like the Pope is the man who represents God, Sin is the entity representing the AI. It is not Sinai. It is Sin AI. Thus, the man of sin will be representing the god Sin. The god Sin is an ancient AI. What are the signs of the man of sin? Not sin, the actions, but sin, the representation of the God AI. Read James Casboult's book, Project Ibis. He details how this ancient AI that was found in Sinai, bullshit, it was found on the mountain of the god Sin, where Moses went. This is what happens with bad translations. He details in the book, Project Ibis, explaining how this AI makes decisions. And when you read what he put in that book, and you see what's going on today, you're going to say there's no question this is an AI. Almost done. The god Sin, his representative, will commit crimes and walk free. Why? You can't arrest a god, right? And you can't really arrest an AI, right? The god Sin, or the man of sin, better yet, the man Sin, is a cyborg vampire. Will be injured and supernaturally healed because it's a cyborg AI vampire. The man Sin, or the god Sin, or his representative, is an alien AI sent from the god Sin. Sin, the god man, is lawless. Sin, the god man, is put there to change all the governments, the structure of governments on earth. I just undid that, hold on. The God-man Sin will change the laws governing the land. The God-man Sin will change the cosmic times and change the age. Okay, you know, like the Bible calls this the end of the age, you know, because it really is the end of the age because we're going into a new age. The God Sin, his representative, you know, like how the Pope is the Holy See. He's the representative of God for all Catholics. The man of sin is the representative of the god Sin, who's an AI. Watch carefully to his actions. Pay attention. The man Sin, his job will to be erect a global AI grid for the god Sin. Sin is not a verb. Sin is not a verb. Sin is a noun. Did everyone hear English? Did I speak English today, or do I need to say it in French? Yes, Kit, Liz, London. This makes sense now. With all the billionaires having access to all social media, now they're getting positions in the new admin. Precisely. Let me say this again. The man Sin. Sin is not a verb. It's not action-oriented. It's a noun. It's a person. You've been lied to. The man of sin is the one representative who was sent by the god Sin. The god Sin is an AI. What is the man of sin's job? He has to erect the global AI grid for the god Sin. Because the god Sin needs a temple to live in. The temple is the grid. I keep telling you guys, it's a lot of entities living in this goddamn grid. Let's continue. The representative of the god Sin, after he builds the grid, will be to force the beast. The beast is not technology. Technology implants the beast. The beast is a parasite. The God-man sin, the representative of the God sin, will be to put the beast into the bodies of unsuspecting zombies. Anyone forcing anything into your body is a representative of the God-man sin. Run. Most will not be able to see they're dealing because of bad mistranslations, telling you that sin is an action. Sin is a noun. I'll show you shortly. Many will worship the representative of the AI god sin, and they'll be deceived. Many will be deceived by sin's representative because you're dealing with master deception. This thing is billions of years old, this AI. The representative of the god sin will control the powerful AI hive. That is how the representative of the god sin will be able to deceive the whole world, and very few will be able to see, and they will not have the algorithm to warn the people. I'm not yelling at you, I just get really excited. Sorry about that. I'll show you who sin is in a second. The man sin will have a powerful hive mind AI. And people like myself who do not have algorithmic favor will be screaming and warning the people, but no one will hear us. Have you ever wondered, wait, hold on. The Bible says everyone will worship this man. You can't get Muslims and Christians to agree on anything. You can't get Hindus and Muslims to agree on anything. How the hell is the whole world going to worship this man? I'll tell you, brain chips. I'll tell you, an alien AI hive. You can't get black people and white people to agree on shit. You can't get white people and Asians to agree on anything. You can't get Hindus and Muslims to agree. You can't get Christians and Muslims to agree. But you're coming to tell me the Bible says everyone will worship the man and the beast? How the hell are they going to do that? A brain chip sent from the god sin that will be forced into your head, and it will do the thinking for you. You got between 2025 to 2029 to make the decision what you're going to do. That is why I'm telling you these things, because the man sin is here. The man of sin, AI, will infect everyone. How can they infect everyone? People, I told you. The man, the God, the representative, the holy see for the god sin, his job is to build the global AI grid. That is how the infection will take place. Hello, Hadi. Welcome. I keep telling you, it is not the 5G tower. It is the electrical grid that is the control system behind all of this. And the electrical grid gives power to the telecommunications grid. How will the man of sin infect everyone globally? The grid has to be updated. Find out if your grid, how old your grid is. If your grid is from the 90s, you're lucky. If your grid is 2000 to 2025, you're on a new grid that the man of sin can infect. All of the books, Hadi, have been misinterpreted. All of the books, all of them. All of them. Huh? Now, sins represent, remember, sin is the God. Sin is an AI. Sin has a representative on earth. Sin, his representative are in the technological industry. How will the God-man sin take over the planet? The God-man sin will take over the planet and infect everyone. I told you people before, I got infected when I was sitting at my computer at the UN, and I turned on my computer and my mind got taken over. And boy, was that a fight to become a human again. I never fought that goddamn hard in all my goddamn life. I think I know what I'm talking about. I touched my keyboard, turned on my computer, and a mind virus was downloaded into my head, and I turned into a zombie. Fighting, and real Renetta was in the back of my head, fighting to take control of my brain. Okay, got it. Don't tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. And don't tell me that they're not going to release an infection through the grid. It happened to me. And boy, it was someone who was sent to tell me, Renetta, you ready for this? This sounds like parasites. I said, parasites? I don't have parasites. And the person kept telling me, do a parasite cleanse and see how you felt. Let me explain to you what the beast technology is. The beast technology, the mark of the beast is not technology. The mark of the beast is a parasite installed using technology. Everyone press English if you understand what I'm saying. Okay, only 2 people? 3 people? Damn, I'm doing a bad job. English, thank you, if somebody understands English. Let me say it again. I got infected with the mind parasite, the AI mind parasite. I went to work at the UN. I was fine. I was Renetta in control of my body, and I was a full-blown Christian. Thank you, Conardus. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Osiris. I am telling you what I went through, so nobody can say I'm making this up. I went through it. I went to work at the UN. I was fully in control of Renetta. I was Renetta. I put my fingers on my keyboard, turned on my computer, and something took over my mind. Renetta went to the back, and I was taken over by an AI after I turned on my computer at the UN. And let me tell you, it was, Lord have mercy, I ain't never fought so hard in all my goddamn life. It took this guy who was a Christian to tell me, that sounds like a parasite. I said, a parasite? I don't have parasites. The person was like, listen, it's a parasite. I said, parasite? They said, yeah, you need a parasite cleanse. So I went and I started to do, by the way, I ended up paralyzed. And I was like, oh, you know, when I was paralyzed, I was laying on a bed, and I think it was an ancestor who came to me. I didn't see anybody, but the ancestor came to me because I wasn't hearing him telling me it's a parasite. I was like, you crazy. What am I doing with a parasite? But while I was on the bed paralyzed, I was visited by an entity. And the entity said to me, hey, what did your ancestors do when they were sick? I said, oh, they did a purge. And the voice said to me, now get up and do it. That's exactly, Osiris. You got it. So I got up and I took the purge. As soon as I took the purge, I got up and I started running. I was shocked. I was like, shit. Half my body was paralyzed and I was laying on a bed. As soon as I took the purge. Then the voice came back to me the next night and said, you're not out of the woods yet. What did your ancestors do whenever they got sick? I said, they took a spiritual bath. The voice said, now get up and do it. I got up and I took the spiritual bath. It was even worse. Man, I began running. I went running 10 miles up and down the place. Okay? So let me make something clear. This was the period over a 10-year period. Okay? the whole thing from the AI infection to getting rid of the AI parasite. Okay? So this is the part I want you to understand. The mark of the beast is not technology. The mark of the beast is the use of technology to implant the beast. I'm not yelling at you. I get excited and start yelling. Sorry. The mark of the beast is not technology. It's called the beast. I believe you, Tim. Yep. Yep. Send a leaf. Yep. I did all that. Well done. Well done, Osiris. And you see how Osiris ended it? The gut is the real mind. Let me tell you something. Your mind is in your gut. It's the only place that they can capture and control. Okay? And your mind doesn't live inside of the body, but it does have a house, and the house is not your brain, it's your gut. That is why when anything is wrong, it's a gut feeling. Whenever you're happy, it's a gut feeling. But that's for another day. Huh? Because these are really good comments. Thank you. Now, watch this. Really good comments. Sin, aka crime in Arabic, and means tail. That is the proper meaning, in my opinion. Tail of the spermatozoa. That's a parasite. Sinning, coming back from the moon. Yeah? Okay. Thank you for that, Hadi. But the origin of the word sin is an actual god. A god from Babylon. And a god from the Akkadians and the Babylon. It's an actual being. So when you're sinning, you're in communion with this entity. Yes, exactly. It's a moon god. Exactly. Exactly. Right? Okay, so we said that part. Last part. This is where it gets really important. Right? All right, let's take a look at this. We're almost done. Who are the Templars? Right? Where are we? Make this bigger. In order to understand where we're going, you must know who these people are. I didn't say disrespect them. I said know who they are. Yes, Timbo. That sounds like a good mix. I might try that. We used to use the charcoal too, charcoal bread and molasses, yeah. Okay. In order to understand 2025 to 2030, you must know who these people are. I did not say go out there and curse these people out. I said know who they are. The Knights Templar, also known as poor fellow soldiers of Christ, nonsense, and of the Temple of Sol On, was a very powerful medieval organization of devout Christians established in 1118, the year 1118. Their primary mission was to protect Christian pilgrims traveling through Jerusalem or to, and carry out military operations during the Crusades. You need to pay attention to this. Military operations called Crusades. Let me say this again. 2025 to 2030, you must study who these people are. Let me say it in French. 2025 to 2030, you must know who this group is. There is no New World Order without them. Is everyone speaking English today? This is the part you must understand about this group. They carry out military operations. Listen, I'm going to say this again. 2025 to 2030. You must, welcome Kit, welcome K. Wright. You must know who this group is. Your life will depend on it in the next 4 years. You guys can read up on them. One of the best books. Of all the books, I got rid of most of my books, but this is the book I kept. Okay. Hold on. This is the book, the only book I kept in my library. Okay. You guys could do whatever you want, but for me, this is the most important book that anybody can have, in my opinion. But that's my opinion. Okay? But that's my opinion. My opinion should not be your opinion, yada, yada, yada. Now, who are they? One of the sects of the Templars is this group, the Rosicruci. They're a worldwide brotherhood. Listen carefully. That possess esoteric wisdom handed down from ancient times. Their teachings of the Rosicruci, meaning rosy cross, their symbol is a rosy cross, includes Hermeticism, Egyptian, Jewish mysticism, Kabbalah, and Christian Gnosticism. Their order is Amor C, and Amor is love. But when you spell Amor C backwards, you get chroma. You drop the C, you get Roma. Can anyone guess what the chroma is? I'll leave that there. So this is one of the subsidiaries of the Templars. The most important thing you need to know about the Templars is this. They are religious zealots. Listen to me very carefully, and I'm going to wrap it up in about 10 minutes. The Templars are not atheists. Chrome. Think chrome. Think chrome and think rose-colored chrome. Okay, the Templar, anyone telling you that the New World Order, bingo, Maxine, you got it. You got it. Okay. Anyone telling you that the New World Order is a secular order needs their head checked. These people are religious zealots. But their God is not your God. I'm going to leave that there. Regarding these people, this is what you need to know 2025 to 2030 to survive and thrive. All military orders is the Templars. All the banks are Templar banks. All real estate is Templar real estate. All art is Templar art. The guardians, these are the ones who guard these bloodlines. The guardians of the bloodline of Jesus, Mary, and their descendants, the Templars. The ones who built all of the modern deep underground military bases are Templars. The ones who created and control all intelligence agencies, and when I say all, I mean all. The Templars. The ones who run the no such agency, NSA, Templars. The ones who control the surveillance grid, Templars. The ones behind the curtain that you never see, Templars. All the wars on earth, Templars. The ones who run NATO, Templars. The Templar belief system. They believe in the spider as the ruler. Yada, 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 Renetta, you're crazy. Do you understand that the domes, all of the domes of the Vatican, the domes of Washington, all of your state capitals that are domes. When you go in and you look up, why does the dome look like a spider? Exactly. You got it right, Hadi. Because when you look at the grounds of a Templar, Vatican Square, Washington Monument, it's all keys. It's all keys. Why? Because they believe they hold the key to Mary and Jesus's bloodline. When you look at the symbol of the NSA is the eagle holding a key. Yes, Hadi, Templar is key. Now, what do the Templar believe? You don't believe there's a spider behind all of this. You see, every single building with a dome, that is a Templar building. When you go inside and you look up at the dome, why do you see a giant spider's web looking at you? Yes, because the Templars, under the Great Pope, converted the people in the East. That was his realm. The Black Pope, sorry, the Black Pope, not Great Pope. You don't believe there's a spider behind this. They do. You don't believe the highest ranking of vampires. They do. And you don't believe in the hybridization of humans and animals. They do. The Europeans call it Greek mythology, Norse mythology for Northern Europeans, and the Africans call them the Orishas. I believe the Japanese call them the Kami, or the Kami. Okay? People have names all over the world for the pantheon of the gods. You don't believe in the Olympians. They do. You don't believe in the pantheon of the Egyptian gods. They do. And they believe they have the right to create these things. Pepe Rossini, well done. At the top of the Templar belief is a spider. Laugh all you want, but you're going to be confronted with these things. They believe that vampires are real, and they believe resurrection is a vampire resurrecting. They believe Jesus' resurrection is Jesus resurrecting from the grave as a vampire. This is what they believe. And these are the people who run. Now that I'm done, I got to show you something important. This is a Templar cross. If you see this symbol anywhere, it means that they're coming above ground. Everyone press 1 if you understand English. Connor, I'm going to bring you in. Thank you, Connor. The Templars went underground. If you see this symbol, it means they're above ground. Okay. Hold on. This is the Rossi Cruci. If you see this symbol, they're above ground. If you see this symbol in the coming days, it is the signal they're coming above ground. People, you must understand that the Templars believe in human-animal hybridization. You must understand that they believe that the human body as is no good, that the human must be enhanced with a beast. And for them, they should be enhanced with technology. If you see this symbol, they're above ground. Let me show you somewhere where else this symbol was used. If you see this symbol, it means they're coming above ground. This is a symbol that was used when a transhumanist from Google interviewed Mark Zuckerberg many years ago. Mark Zuckerberg had on a sweater, and on the sweater was this symbol here in blue. Is it beginning to make sense? What they're saying is coming above ground? Yes, Kit, you got it. The X, they spun the cross on an axis. Do you see the star in the middle? The 6-pointed star here and the 6-pointed star here? What is important is that you got to understand that those who bear these symbols believe that humans should be enhanced with animals, and that the super duper elite, those who are worthy, should be enhanced with technology if you're worthy. But the most important symbol I want you to remember in all of this, you must be aware of this symbol. Connor, come on in and educate us on the Templars.
Okay, well, first of all, I was raised in a Priory of Sion family. So I was aware of the bloodline, my bloodline to Christ, and so on. But before I get into it, is that a couple of weeks ago, I think I should mention this, I was actually being spied on. There was a car that pulled up in front of my house, and they had binoculars looking into my window. And I called my neighbor, who was a police officer, and I'm saying there's a guy wearing a black suit using binoculars in front of my window, and I was watching him too. And I also had binoculars, and I was also looking at him too. Call my next door neighbor. What happened is that he came out there, and they were watching me. They identified themselves as members of a secret society. Now, that is not the Priory, it is the Templars. The Priory of Sion is totally different than the Templars. So, the Priory is the one who actually protects the bloodline. The Priory is also who protects the royal families of the world, because they obtained secret knowledge. Now, what happened is that, oh, I'm fine. But the reason why is that I am more careful of myself is because when I was younger, I was kidnapped by the CIA. Now, the Templars, like Rianetta mentioned, are Novus Ordo Seclorum. Now, Novus Ordo Seclorum means New World Order. New World Order, they're part of the New World Order. And also, if you look at the Rothschilds too, they're also connected. They're the world's wealthiest people. The Templars were the same thing. They were richer than kings and popes. And if a king was kidnapped, they were able to pay off their ransom, whatever the hostage demander wanted. So let's say, for example, King Richard I, he was in hostage. And then what happened is that the Holy Roman Emperor and the Egyptian Sultan Saladin, they wanted a ransom. The Templars paid it off. Now they will say that it was the English people who, no. The Knights Templar did it. They're the wealthiest group in the world. They're the wealthiest. And they'll tell you, well, it's a band of warrior monks. Well, let me tell you this. They're zealots, like Rianetta mentioned. They're not like the normal Christian part, or they're not like any other part. They're totally controlling. They're totalitarian. Their agenda was to create a new world order in the 1100s. They were successful. They created a kingdom in Jerusalem. You can look it up. Look up Templar Kingdom of Jerusalem. And the king was a Templar. And there was a church on Temple Mount called that was a main center for the Knights Templar. Look it up. I'm serious. Look it up. The Templar Kingdom of Jerusalem. And there it is. The Knights of Templar established a kingdom in Jerusalem. And, they would say, oh, they were after religious relic. Well, no, that was the priory that did that. It was not the Templars. The Templars were there to create a global empire. That was a lie. The priory went back to Rome and told them that you are not to steal and fund any more Templars because they will betray you. They're not there for your protection. They're there to create a new world empire. But the Vatican is in favor of it because the Pope today wants to create one world religion, one world government, and that one world religion will be Chrislam, a combination of all the world's religions. And it will feature mainly Christianity and Islam. That's the new world religion. Number two, the new world order of government will be headed by whom? The Vatican. The Vatican will dictate. So it will be a theocracy. A theocracy meaning the rule of priesthood, the rule of religious leaders. And again, the Vatican is also a royal elective monarchy. An elective monarchy. A theocratic elective monarchy. Now listen, the pharaohs of Egypt were theocrats as well. The pharaohs of Egypt was of a royal bloodline, but they were also high priests. High priests. The pharaohs were high priests. The Chinese emperors were high priests. The current emperor of Japan is the head of Shintoism. Hello, they're high priests. And also in my faith, the Catholic faith, Jesus is the high priest. He's the King of Kings. The Pope is the high priest. He is the face of the entire Catholic faith. He is the face. But let me tell you this. The Pope in the Vatican is not the one calling the shots. It's the great Pope, Pepe Orsini. Now, the Orsinis come from a very long line to the Judo-Claudian dynasty, which ruled hold on, Renee. I'm just looking at, but here, let me finish what I was saying. What was I saying? I just forgot for a second.
The Judo-Claudian Empire.
Thank you. The Judo-Claudian dynasty, their descendants are the Orsinis. Now, the Orsinis were a very top ranking family in the Vatican. They controlled Vatican finances. 3 members of the family became popes. The last Orsini pope was Benedict XIII. That was in the 1700s. You can look him up too. Look up Pope Benedict XIII. Who actually ruled above the Pope is the Orsini family. If you look actually, the 13 families of the Illuminati, they're all papal families that run the Vatican. The Borgias, the Colonnas, the Orsinis, the Anobrandides, the Della Rovere, the Colonna, they all run the world. The one who actually ran the papacy was the Orsini family. Whoever was the head of the Orsini family was immediately in charge of the Vatican and immediately in charge of the Pope and in charge of all the world's rulers. Now, the kings of England and the kings of Europe did not like that power. They wanted to cede away. So Henry VIII was example. They will say, oh yeah, he broke away for lust. Well, the reason why he broke away is because he didn't want a pope telling him what to do.
Explain to them the black nobility And he's absolutely right with what he's telling you. Because this goes back to the black nobility. They lied and told you there's these 13 bloodlines. These 13, and I love Fritz Springmeier, but Fritz Springmeier did not tell you the true ruling families. Those families in the 13 bloodline of the Illuminati are under the real bloodlines that run the planet. And this is the Venetian bankers and those from the southern part of Italy called Nobilita Nera, the black nobility. Go ahead, Connor.
So the black nobility, so again, the 13 families. Now, if you look at these families real quick, so they're in charge of the world. They are the ones pushing Novus Ordo Seclorum. Like, yeah, I'm good with my Latin. Novus Ordo Seclorum. Now, the Vatican, after Vatican II, let me tell you this. They wanted to reform our faith. Let me tell you this. So they put in a new order, Novus Ordo, dictating what we should preach, what you should do during the Mass, and how you distribute Holy Communion. Originally, you didn't have those rules. The new Novus Ordo of Vatican II is controlling the priests and is controlling the bishops. Now, if you see today, there's a lot of cardinals and bishops that are violently opposed Vatican II. Like Archbishop Vigano, for example, he was excommunicated because he was not in favor of Vatican II. Vatican II became more authoritarian. And Heidi is right on point. And so is Renata.
Sorry, go ahead, Connor. You were reading that. Go ahead.
So Rome, who claimed to be the successor of the Roman emperors? I want everyone to answer this. Because after the emperors died off, who became the one in charge, centered in Rome? Who is it? I know the answer. Renata knows the answer, but I want others to tell me about this. Who succeeded the Roman emperors after they all died out? Please leave a comment, please. I want everyone to answer this because I'm not going to answer it for you. I want people to also answer for themselves because I'm trying to teach you. Who is running the world after the Roman Empire dies off? Who? It's not the Byzantine emperors. It is centered in Rome. Who is it? Someone write in the comments. No, Constantine was an emperor. I'm talking about who succeeded the Roman emperors after the. Thank you, Maxine. Thank you. You have answered correctly. The popes claim to have supreme temporal and spiritual authority over the Christian kings of Europe and ordinary people. That's what succeeded the Roman emperors. That is, as Renata mentioned, the First Reich. Renata can correct on me if I'm wrong, but the First
No, he's
Reich
right.
is the
That's the
Reich.
first Reich. And the fourth
First
Reich
Reich.
is their descendants. Keep going, Connor. But tie this into that symbol you see on the screen. Go ahead.
Okay, but the kingdom of Jerusalem, founded by the Templars, they took immediate control. And so after that, with disputing Vatican authority, they started telling the Pope what to do. So they're blackballing. They're blackballing the Pope in order to fund their and pay them. The Vatican is the richest country on earth. It's also a bank. They make billions, possibly trillions of dollars a year. Every member of the clergy is wealthy in the very, very top ranks of the Vatican. The Jerusalem cross is the symbol of the kingdom of Jerusalem. And I'm going to tell you this, the kingdom of Jerusalem still exists today. Yes, Kid is right. Smaller crosses are supposed to be the nails at the hands and feet of Christ. They're called the 5 wounds of Christ. So eventually they started radicalizing it. So they started persecuting Christians, even though they were supposed to be protecting them. I say this in air quotes, protecting them, like Dr. Evil, like we call a laser, protecting. But they're not actually protecting. They were slaughtering Christian pilgrims. They were slaughtering Muslims. Because here's the thing, Jerusalem is sacred to 3 of the world's Abrahamic religions. Again, Abrahamic. Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Those 3 are Abrahamic religions. Top 3 Abrahamic religions. In Judaism, that's where God gathered the dust to create Adam. Jerusalem, to Christians, Catholics, they believe that Jerusalem is where Jesus conveyed his most sacred teachings. And then 3, that's where the Prophet Muhammad ascended into the sky on the back of a winged horse. Exactly, Kid is right. So the Templars seized that in order for control. And the Muslims conquered back Jerusalem from the Templars. There was no clear winner, but in the Crusades. So that's when, bringing into Crusades. How many Crusades were there? 8. 8 Crusades. The Templars were present in 8 Crusades. Now, what led to their downfall? King Philip IV, France, Pope Clement V. Pope Clement V is actually King Philip of France's personal friend. He got him on to the papacy. This is what happened. So this is how you censor. So they still do it today, but this is how you censor a very militaristic religious zealot society. I'll tell you who is their successor in a bit, but I'm going to tell you what happened. So King Philip IV saw that the Templars were growing very rich, and also that there were people joining in flock of numbers to the Templar order. The king wanted to be part of the order, but this is what happened, why they declined him. No, the King of England has nothing to do with this. The King of England supported the demise of the Templars. I'm talking in 1307. I'm talking in 1307 right now, Patrick. But the Black Pope is the leader of the Jesuit order. Like Pope Francis is a part of the Jesuits. Look up the prelate of the Jesuit order. So King Philip IV and Pope Clement V issued a bull of excommunication, removal, and dismissal of their order. They declared all of them Satan worshippers. Now, the Priory of Sion protected the royal bloodlines of England and France because of their genetic lineage to Christ. Actually, all of Europe and all of the world. They protected every royal bloodline on earth, but they protected mainly those two because of what happened to Dagobert II that was hundreds of years before. Dagobert II was a Magdalenian descendant. He was murdered by the Vatican. We'll get to that later.
Let me ask you a question. Are the
Sure.
Templars good? And if you see someone who's a Templar today, is that a good thing?
Some Templars are good. There's actually what actually happened. It became a schism within the order. You know what a schism is, right?
Yep.
A division. So some Templars went to the Priory. They wanted to protect the secret bloodline and knowledge of the ancient past. The order that became corrupted wanted control, New World Order, wanted to use that knowledge against the people. They wanted control, absolute control. That's what happened in the division. That's why King Philip IV and Pope Clement came in. They decided, you know what? Enough fighting. The Templar New World Order will be destroyed. End of story. So they took Jacques de Molay, the last Grand Master of the Knights Templar, and executed him. Now he cursed Pope Clement V and King Philip IV on when he was burnt at the stake. Now the Templars stole one treasure, the Ark of the Covenant, from the Priory. Now during that time, after the curse was activated, the king died, the Pope died on the same day, and the church of where the Pope was to held the service of an upcoming mass burnt down. Now he didn't just curse and then Philip, he cursed his entire bloodline. So that's what the Priory did not like. So what happened is that his eldest son dies, his three sons die, his only grandson dies, ending the Capetian dynasty. Exactly Jacques de Molay has cursed. So what happened is that they turned the bloodline over to the next legitimate descendant. That person was the King of England, Edward III. He was the next legitimate descendant. However, they didn't want an English king ruling France. So they went to another person, not of a legitimate right. But in the line of succession, but however, not remotely close to Philip IV. However, some Templars survived the persecutions on the 13th of October. If you look it up, their extermination Renata, the 13th of October, 1307. That's when the Templars were exterminated, supposedly. But they went to the New World in Nova Scotia. They took the Ark of the Covenant with them. They met with the Mekong tribe. And if you look at the Mekong tribe, their battle flag matches the Templar flag. So we know that the Templars were here before Christopher Columbus. And here's the thing. The Templars today are more evil, and why we should be very, very concerning of them. The Templars today became more authoritarian, more world government with Pope Francis. After their extermination, they founded a child order, the Order of Christ. This is the current Templar order. This is their successor, Order of Christ. You can look it up. The Order of Christ is the current Templar order on the New World. So I divided Templars into two main categories: Novus Ordo Seclorum Templars and Norvis and right ordinary Templars. But the Order of Christ is the Novus Ordo Seclorum, or militaristic order. Portugal were Templar kings. Portugal's another Templar kingdom.
In your opinion, if let's say hypothetically the Templars take over the Pentagon, hypothetically, are they there to execute revenge for the extermination of their brothers? What would a Templar military mean, in your opinion, considering that you know their history?
An actual war would be my interpretation. An actual world war, like a ballistic war. That's what would happen if they wanted revenge. They will conquer the Vatican itself. They will conquer the countries that themselves they persecuted. And then they will try to seclude those countries into their order so that they can control. They will control the media. They will control the government. They will shut down the country. Martial law declared. This is what happened during the quack pandemic. We were all locked. This was a Templar strategy to control the people. First, what they would do is control the military. They would control and spy on governments. They would infiltrate intelligence services for control. They will also go undercover into the top governmental buildings. They would usurp the government buildings and also take
And when they
control
do
of the
it,
country.
and when the Templars act in revenge, what religion are they going to say they represent when they do it?
They would say they represent Christianity, but in reality, they won't. Their actual religion will be Chrislam.
True. But in the West, what religion are they going to use when they if they hypothetically do what they've known to do, which is infiltrate and take down governments and bring them under a Templar order?
They would go under Catholicism, and here's why: because today lots of members of the clergy oppose Pope Francis and the current system of the Vatican, which is Templar infiltrated. The current system of the Vatican totally destroyed the church and totally destroyed the faith. And lots of bishops and archbishops and cardinals are violently opposed to Templars.
So a Templar military commander would literally go after his enemies in government and in the Vatican to take them out. And let me ask you a question. So a Templar order, because the Templar, they believe their kingdom is Jerusalem. So
Yes.
that would mean that anyone who opposes Templars in the Muslim world, what would they do to them? Because the Muslims, the Hashemite kingdom controls, are the guardians of the Dome of the Rock, the Temple Mount. So if the Hashemites were not Templars, what would a Templar general do to them?
So this is what would happen: a religious war, a jihad will break out. But here's the thing: Jordan has been infiltrated by Templars. The king of Jordan is a Templar supporter, so he wouldn't do anything to help his people if a bloodshed or jihad broke out. He would just sit there and do nothing. What would happen, though, is that we would see millions of people, whatever religion, slaughtered in front of the public eye. They would be immediately decapitated or worse. And they would recruit the children, again, Janissaries, into their army. Now, what they will also do is that they will enslave children. They would enslave other people who oppose them. And they will force them to join their army and brainwash and
what would happen
recruit
to
them.
the Jews, the people who claim that that Temple Mount is theirs? We know that the Priory of Zion, they're Jewish. We know that the Jesuits are Jewish, but the Templars are a little bit of both. They are European Ashkenazis who are white, and then there's part of them are European Jews. So where would the Jews stand with the Jewish people? Where would they stand? Because they believe this whole thing is theirs. You know how they think. In terms of the Templars, where do the Jewish people stand with a Templar
The Jewish people
general?
stand with the Templars because Jewish people fund the Templars. They fund them. So they would use them for control.
From the banks.
Yes, they will fund them. They will support them no matter what, because they also are part of the Templar Novus Ordo Seclorum.
Through the Rosicrucians.
Yes.
Yeah.
However, the Priory of Sion is syncretic. They adopted all the world's faith into one to keep that knowledge and their royal bloodlines intact. And they're against the Novus Ordo Seclorum Templars today. They're still opposed to them.
Okay, so let's... Sorry, go ahead. I don't want to cut you.
So the reason why we're at war here is that the reason why they want to start a World War III is launched by the Novus Ordo Seclorum Templars. It's because they want one world government. They want Islam instated. However, they will adopt Catholicism as their faith that they want people to believe, but in fact they want Christianity and Islam one. That will be the one world religion. And the Jews are funding the Novus Ordo Seclorum Templars. They're the ones who want the world to fall under their hands. And the current Grand Master of the Order of Christ, aka the Novus Ordo Seclorum Templars, is of that goal. He will be king of a Jerusalemic empire, which will be the world. That's their goal. That's the actual Decepticon army.
Connor, that was powerful. I mean, that was did you guys hear this? Did you guys catch that? I mean, that was really powerful explanation. So a Templar general surfacing to the public is a sign that a global war is coming between the Templar New World Order and those who will not adhere. And the Templar New World Order emissaries, who have always been a military order, they are funded by the Jews, correct?
Correct.
So a Jerusalem Templar order is a Jewish order to take control of Jerusalem as the capital of the world, and then they bring in a one world religion. But in order to do that, they have to slaughter billions of people, correct?
Yes. This could be done by human sacrifice. This could be done by any number of reasons. However, they will most likely adapt the Aztec ritual of human sacrifice,
which is what the Templars were known for with their tortures.
Exactly.
And quartering people and cutting
yes.
and putting them on stakes.
You got it.
And cutting off their genitalia.
Not cutting off the genitalia, however. They use that for reproduction for their descendants so that they can continue their order. However, they won't actually cut off the genitalia of ordinary people, of people like us.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Us, not the Templars.
Yes.
Because one of the things. Sorry.
It's okay. they would actually torture you in public. They will brainwash the people watching you torture that this person is a heretic. This person committed crimes against them. So what they would do is that they would use a fear mechanism to control you.
Okay, let me ask you something. What if because usually the Templars, they're hidden. So what if there's a Templar
Always.
general and they come to the surface? If there's a general who is a high-ranking general and we know he's a Templar, he wears the sign of the Templars, what would that mean for the United States? Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing?
It would mean the immediate fall of the United States and the world. Okay. If they surface and they rise and they start doing their goal, they would start immediately bringing the Fourth Reich, the world order of them. They would start bringing it, and they would start accusing other countries of invading the United States and our allies. They will start blaming countries. That would start a world war, and then they will start using the allies and us to conquer the world, create an empire under their control. Now, we wouldn't have freedom of speech. It would be an authoritarian, autocratic, royal dictatorship. The reason why they want all these royal bloodlines exterminated is because they have more richer, more purity than the Templar Grand Master. So he's searching for a person in that bloodline in order to secure the rule. So they're trying to bring back what the original system of government was before the flood, but they're going to turn it against it. So they're going to flip it into a more autocratic, patriarchal, royal dictatorship.
Militarized.
Yes, like okay. Saudi Arabia.
Bingo. Now, let me ask you a question. Let's say hypothetically that there was a Templar at the highest commands of hypothetically, at the highest commands of the U.S. military, let's say general, the Pentagon, that kind of stuff. Would the Templar collapse the government as we know it to militarize the United States and change the system of government?
Yes, they would. What they will also do is that they would also run for office too. They would run for office, seize control, and then they will tell what the people should think. They would weaponize the media. They will weaponize the justice system. They will weaponize everything in order to get their goal.
Okay, and let's get in terms of Templar esotericism. Love, welcome. Let's get in terms of the spiritual aspect of the Templars. Do the Templars believe that humans should remain humans, or do they believe anything like the Olympians, like the superhuman, Ubermensch, mixed with animals, that kind of stuff?
No, they view us as a slave race to them. They believe that they are the Olympians. What they believe under them is a slave race.
Okay. And do the Templars have a history? We know they have a history of torture. We know they have a violent history of retribution because of how the Catholic Church persecuted them, the Vatican persecuted them. Do they have a modern history? I mean, much of the history is shrouded in secrecy. They've remained hidden. Human experimentation. Is that a Templar doctrine?
Yes. If you look at the genocide by Hamas is a funded Templar society.
And you're right, because Israel created them. Yeah.
Yes, Israel is funded by Templars and Templar Jews. Templars are syncretic, so they encompass the
syncretic, yeah. Syncretization, yeah.
So they accomplish the Jewish Kabbalah. They accomplish.
Go ahead, Connor. Connor, you're muted.
See, people, you see the NSA is trying to cut me out, so they're remotely controlling my computer.
Oh wow, yeah, that's Templar. The NSA are Templars.
What they want to do is that in order for them to create a worldwide empire, they would have to use syncretic religious cults to control people. So what they would use is that they would use the most radical form of Islam and Judaism, combine them together, combine it with Christianity, and there you go. And they don't believe in the Christ bloodline. That Jerry's on point. They don't believe in they want is for them to be in control. The reason why they would take part of to marry a descendant is because so they can have control. And the Jerusalem cross will be their flag. It will be their Novus Ordo, New World Order.
Okay, so let me ask you, before we project out into the world, what would a Templar Pentagon mean for Americans on American soil? I'm saying as a like, you know, I mean, we know the Templars control the NSA, the intelligence, but they've always remained hidden. Let's say the Templars decide to come out. What would a Templar Pentagon mean for American people?
It would mean immediate representation on their lives. You would be spied on almost all the time. They will force your neighbors to spy on you too. What would happen is that if you're immediately charged with a crime, you will be sentenced to death without a fair trial. What you also do, if you're also behind on your taxes, they will take all your money and kill you. They will also seize your property. They will seize your assets. They will take away your children and enslave them. They will take away your wives and use them as a religious order of sacrifice.
Sex prostitute.
Yep, they would use them. And what happened is that the U.S. will immediately become a Templar dictatorship.
Okay, so basically we would have brown shirts everywhere. And what about the Templars? And there's a lot of talk that the Templars, when they were in secret, they were building a cyborg, part human, part machine, part human, part animal hybrid army. Would the Templars, are they crazy enough to release those things to the surface?
Oh, yeah.
Mercenaries. You know, the Templars are mercenaries.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Go ahead. So tell us, what would the American streets look like?
Exactly. Yeah. That's what they would do. So they would send out people to be nice to you, and then they will turn your back. And so it would be like 1984. The thought police. They would use that. What happened is that they would use their thought police to spy on you. And they would also have people, close friends. They will recruit close friends of yours. And they would spy on you. They would pretend that they're nice, but they're actually working for a far darker order. They're working for what the Templars want. So they're implementing their agenda. And that agenda is also the Jewish agenda, by the way, the rabbi agenda, to bring back Leviathan, the spider, and Apophis. That's what they want. So the Grand Master of the Novus Ordo Templars is considered to be the Antichrist. He is essentially the false prophet. He's essentially the Antichrist, but also he is the son of Apophis.
Okay. And in terms of a spirituality, do the Templars manipulate the spirit realm?
They can manipulate the spirit realm because
do they do occult practices? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
They have their own shamans. They have their own priests.
And the Templars were originally known as the one who walked in the shadows, right?
Yes.
The shadow people, right?
Oh, by the way, you know that original order, the Brotherhood of the Snake? That's them. That's them.
Interesting. Okay, so let's look at the United States first, because the United States will be the template. If something like this happens, I'm not saying it will, but I'm just saying, if the Templars decide to come above ground or come out in the open, let's say, decide, okay, we're going to run the Pentagon out in the open. So basically, what they would do is collapse the government that, as we know, which is the three branches of government, and put it under royal militarized type government. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. The second thing is they would lock the people inside the United States. Is that correct?
Yes, like North Korea. Yes.
Okay, that's where I'm going with this. Okay. The third thing is they would have spies, soldier spies on the ground spying on everybody.
Yes.
Correct? Okay. People will be disappeared into torture camps.
Yes, if they go against.
Okay. So if they talk bad about the Templar order, government order, they disappear into these secret camps, correct?
Yes.
Okay. What else did we miss? In terms of religion, what would the Templar allow you to worship?
They will.
Because they are religious.
Islam. You would worship Islam.
And who would that God be? Would that be the God Sin? Who would the God of Islam be?
The God of
Allah?
Islam
Would it be Jesus?
Sin. You would also worship Muhammad as the God, the son of Sin.
So Sin would be the God, Muhammad would be his prophet.
Yes.
Okay.
Catholicism, they would totally dismay that Jesus Christ, the son of the true God.
See.
So they would make him like, oh, he's just a prophet. They would make Muhammad as the true son. But in actuality, he would be the son of sin. Jesus Christ would be the son of the one true God, the creator, as you like to call him, Aten. Because I know scripture, they like to control with scripture.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus talked about, he warned us what would happen today, what they would want.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think Muhammad came into Saudi Arabia? He was a militaristic general.
He was.
He took
he was created by a Catholic monk, and I'm wondering if it's a Templar.
It is a Templar. Okay. It is a Templar because his father was a Templar. They're not telling you that. The Muslim community won't tell you that. The very top people, the imams, they won't tell you that. Because Muhammad, if you look at his ancestry, it goes into Abraham's son.
You mean Abraham's father, Terah?
Yes.
And Terah was a general. Connor, you are hitting it on all cylinders. Keep going.
And here's the thing. Muhammad, he despised the Christ bloodline. So the reason why he wanted to get rid of Jesus's bloodline, he wanted to dismay him. He wanted to enslave people. And the reason why, and Muhammad's bloodline goes to Nimrod. But it's not in a good sense, I say. Nimrod was the first world dictator. He might have bloodline to the Atlanteans, but he was certainly not an Atlantean. He was a self-controlled, self-absorbed, tyrannical monarch who built the Tower of Babel and wanted to be worshipped as a god. He dismayed all the other Babylonian gods in order for him to become a god. That was the plan. The Templars used Nimrod's example in order to create their agenda. Muhammad used that as well. Why do you think he conquered almost all of North Africa and into Asia to control? The reason why the Muslims remain divided between the Sunnis and the Shiites is because one of them wanted hereditary bloodline to Muhammad. One of them wanted in-law relationship, because the Sunnis know what kind of prophet he is. Muhammad,
and that's the Islamic schism. Let's stop there, because that they kill each other over the schism, just like the Irish.
Yes.
Let's leave the schism, just like the Catholics have their schism and they fight. The Muslims have their schism and they fight. But what we want to know, so now we know that all of this is going back to the military order of Nimrod, correct?
Yes.
And it's funny because in Babylon and in the Akkadians, the main god was sin.
Yes.
Okay, so let's look this up. So the god sin. So could it be, hold on. I put Babylon. Oh my God, sorry. Suenuen. Okay, that's the god sin. So are we going into the god sin because the Bible calls this being, this representative, the man of sin, the man who represents the god sin? So what do you know, if anything, if the Templars and the god sin?
They worship him.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know Baal, that's his equivalent. So,
yeah, wow. Mm.
So, you know how their logo is a crescent moon and a star? Well, that's that's his symbol. And so what they would do is that whoever is not a descendant of the god sin, they would kill him. So like the Christ bloodline, the royal bloodlines of the ancient and today, they were at war with them because they were descendants of the true gods. They were descended of the one true God, Aten, like Jesus, his son, his father. The reason why they went to war with them is because they were granted authority to be kind, not like the sin bloodline. The sin bloodline wanted absolute power and control and tyranny. The other side wanted wisdom, caring, and love.
Okay, quick question. So a lot of these people, the ones in the truther movement who are given the algorithm, not people like me who don't get any views, but the people given the algorithm, they say that the New World Order is a bunch of hedonistic people on the left, and the only way to save the country is to hand it over to the military and create and recreate America into a theocracy.
That's what they want. Yeah.
I was about to say, is this a Templar strategy?
Yes. Guess what? The what you call Democratic Party in the United States is a Templar order. I'm not saying Donald Trump is a good guy, but I'm saying this is what I'm saying. Donald Trump is of the Christ bloodline. They are opposed members of presidents of the Christ bloodline. So like
Connor, I have to disagree with you. I don't believe Donald Trump. This is my opinion. I believe Donald Trump is one of them. I don't believe he's of the Christ bloodline. I believe he's the devil. But make your point. Go ahead.
What I'm trying to say is that all the 46 presidents descend from one person, King John Plantagenet. Plantagenet is the name connected to the Christ bloodline. Now, many billionaires in the United States are part of the Templar order, and they want to adopt the ritualistic evil agenda of the Templars, the Jewish Novus Ordo Seclorum Templars.
But let me ask you a question. The Jews, in over 100 rabbis in Israel, crowned Trump as king of the Jews after Trump gave them Jerusalem. Isn't this a Templar move?
No, that is not. This is the reason why they're blaming it on him is because they want to create a diversion who is really the king of the Jews. That's the Grand Master of the Order of the Templars. They want to create a diversion.
Okay. No,
So-
rabbis in Israel crowned Trump as the king of the Jews. Right here. Yeah. Trump is king of the Jews. Not only that, the Templars, in order for the Fourth Reich to be set up, you got to put Jerusalem under Jewish hands. You got to take it out of the Muslim and put it under Jewish hands. Trump was the one who did that. After he did that, they crowned him king of the Jews. Isn't that a Templar strategy?
Yes,
You don't think so?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Look.
So
He
the
was
reason,
watch it right here. That's a Templar strategy. Crown of Jerusalem. He was given the crown of Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Trump was called.
Hold on a second.
Uh-huh.
His son-in-law is a Jew. His daughter is a Jew.
Yeah. Trump, yeah. He's Israel's protector. And Trump was
hold
given
on a second. I'm just thinking of something. Hold on.
Go for it.
His son-in-law is a Templar.
Yeah. His daughter married into a Templar bloodline.
So
he's called the King of the Jews, and he was given the crown of Jerusalem. That makes Trump a Templar.
Yes, it does.
He went to Jesuit university. His first wife was a Jew.
Did you just say Jesuit? That connects to the Black Pope.
Of course, he went to Jesuit university in the Bronx.
Interesting. You know, I say interesting is because when I say something, it means it's connected. Something is connecting here.
Yeah, that's okay. That's why I gave you time to recant and really think about this. Hold on. Let me use another search engine so we can.
I recant my original thing about Trump.
No, that's okay. That's okay because you didn't have the information, and that shows that you're mature and willing to look at, proper information, right? Rabbis crown Trump king of Jews. Okay. Trump crown. He was given 2 crowns. One as the king of the Jews, 2 as the king of Israel. Over 100 rabbis crowned him. Jew rabbis crowned their Messiah, Trump. And he was given, you cannot tell me, the only person who could give you the Jerusalem crown is a Templar.
Yep.
So let me ask you now, let's say hypothetically, we get a Templar military general running the Pentagon.
It'll be totally different than Trump. It will be totally different.
No, but Trump has to pick the Secretary of Defense, remember? Okay, so if Trump selects the Secretary of Defense and Trump has now been given the crown of Jerusalem, which is a Templar crown, because the cross of the Templar is the cross of Jerusalem. Is that correct?
That's what Pete Hegseth wore.
Who's Pete Hegseth?
Pete Hegseth is his nomination for Secretary of Defense.
And what does he have to do with a cross?
Because he wears it all the time.
He wears what? A Templar cross? Oh. Oh, wait. Whoa. Oh, shit.
Now he's Catholic, but he wears the Templar cross because he supports the Templar order in the past. However,
but the Catholics are against the Templars.
The Catholics are against the Templars.
So you can't be a Catholic and wear a Templar crown unless you're a Jesuit.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's backtrack. Because I do not believe Trump keeps his enemies close. I believe that is bullshit given to people. Maxine, thank you for the comment. But I believe that is mind control given to people by Decepticons and the truther community so that people don't see what's really going on.
You
Let's
step into the
backtrack.
world of lies, Maxine. Not
Yeah. And remember, all propaganda, it goes back to Plato, and then it goes back to the military orders.
I want everyone to understand this. President Obama made propaganda legal in this country.
Thank you.
He's a Templar man.
Thank you. And all of this came out of Fort Bragg before they moved it to Georgia. I forgot the base in Georgia. Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's flush this out. So Trump, we know, was given the crown of Jerusalem. You cannot get that crown unless you're a Templar.
Exactly.
Okay. We see here he was given two crowns. One, he was crowned by the Jewish Messiah, the Jews, over 100 rabbis in Israel, crowned Trump as the Jewish Messiah. So he has that crown, the Jewish Messiah, the King of the Jews. And then the second thing they did was give him the crown of Jerusalem, which could only be given to a Templar. So now let's backtrack. So you're telling me that the head of the Pentagon, Trump's pick, wears a Templar cross?
Yup.
Okay, so let's backtrack. Trump was given two crowns by the Jews. One was the crown of Jerusalem, which could only be given to a Templar. And two, he was crowned King of the Jews. Does anyone know the word for a Jewish king? Does anyone know the word for a Jewish king? Would you like me to show you?
Answer this. I want people in the comments to answer this.
Would you like me to show you what the word for a Jewish king means?
Nazi? King.
Nazi. It's not a soft S. It's a hard Z. Nazi.
That explains why Hitler created his own party to Nazi.
Yes, because it's not a German word. It's a Jewish word.
Mm-hmm.
When the rabbis crowned Trump, they called him Nazi. And when he's crowned a Nazi, his government is called Nazim, which is plural, not Nazi. Nazi is how an American would pronounce it. No, you're talking about the Semitic language. It's Nazi. Trump was crowned King of the Jews by over 100 rabbis in Israel. The title would be Nazi. The second crown he was given was the crown of Jerusalem, which is a Templar crown, only reserved for a Templar. So now you're telling me his pick for the Secretary of Defense has a Templar cross? Where's a Templar cross? Connor?
I'm sorry?
I said, so the Trump's pick for Secretary of Defense is wearing a Templar cross?
Yeah, he acknowledged it. He several members of Trump's close cabinet also adopted the Templar cross as well.
Wait, Trump's whole cabinet? Jesus Christ, it's worse than I thought. Trump's whole cabinet adopted the Templar cross?
Actually, the entire government of the United States has adopted the Templar cross because they were orchestrating the Fourth Reich.
Goddamn. And you know, the king of the Jews is called the Nazi.
Nazi, yeah.
Yeah, and his government is called the Nazim. Now, what's interesting, and you can go to the Jewish library for this, so no one could say I'm making it up. This is the Jewish library. And one of the things that the Nazi, which is the Jewish king, he was military and religious leader.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You know what a king was in those days, guys? Both a political monarch and a high priest.
Yes, absolutely. It's called Priest King.
Priest King, yeah.
Yeah. So Jesus Christ. Wow, it's really late. So now Tanithia says the real Jews were black as well as Yeshua. Read the book. The Africans wrote the book. First of all, Tanithia, you cannot read King James Version because it tells you in the book it's a version. A version is not the original. So until you have the original in front of you, I am not believing any of it. That is my opinion. People are free to believe what they want. The second thing is, I am not putting my life on the line for anything called a script, right? But you are free, you're welcome here anytime, and you're free to believe whatever the hell you want. What we're looking at is what does the Templar mean for us regular folks who are not Templars today? And we know that the Nazi Germany was a Templar military order. Connor.
Yes, it was. And why do you think they didn't just kill off Jews? They killed Catholics. They killed a lot, many people who opposed their regime.
They killed 60 million whites.
Yes, they sure did.
The Nazi order killed 60 million white Christians. Not only that, the Nazi government exterminated people who were crippled and indigent. And they also exterminated the gypsies.
Yep.
Okay. So for any white person thinking that a Nazism is a good idea, they really need to go study what Hitler did. And Hitler said his job was to bring about a new order. And the second thing was the creation of the state of Israel. Hitler was a Templar.
Lenin was a Templar. Stalin was a Templar. Saddam Hussein was a Templar. All of the Kim Jong-un is a Templar.
I gave you the link so you could read what the Nazi is. And no, you cannot pronounce the word Nazi. No, that is not how you pronounce it in the East. It's pronounced Nazi. So, okay. So Trump is the Nazi of the Jews, correct?
Yep.
Therefore, his incoming administration would be a Nazism, correct?
Yes.
And this is a Templar order.
Templar order.
Let me ask you a question. Where do black people stand? I'm black. Where would I stand? And I don't subscribe to any secret orders. Where would I stand?
Let me think about that for a second.
You come from the priory. That's your bloodline.
Yep.
Where would you stand? Where would someone who's gay stand? Where would...
I would be killed alongside you guys.
Well,
yep. They want to create...
Tanithia, yes, they did. Good comment. Thank you. They did. They killed a lot of blacks who were studying in Europe. Go ahead. Go ahead, Connor. Why would you be killed, Connor?
Because of my bloodline. They would also kill me because I oppose their rule. They would go after anybody, not just whites, but any race, any gender, any belief. If anything opposes their line of vision, is treason to them.
Okay.
You would be killed.
Now let's talk about, there are white people who think this is a wonderful idea and he's a wonderful, great Christian. Let me ask you something. When the Templar order under Hitler, the Templar, the Nazi Templar, did they kill regular white folks? Did Hitler's government kill regular white folks?
Yeah.
Okay. Did Hitler's government put white women into sex camps to produce blonde hair, blue-eyed white babies?
Yeah.
Okay. So will white women have freedom under the Nazism?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. let me ask you a question. With white women's vagina, and I'm not being a pervert, I'm getting to the brass tacks here. Would white women have control over their vaginas with a Nazi government?
No.
Okay. If you're a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman, where do you stand under a Nazi government?
You would stand along with their Aryan race.
Okay. And they would put them into sex camps, correct?
Yep.
Would the children produced by a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman, would that child belong to the white woman or would it belong to the Nazi?
Nazi.
Okay. Okay, black women will be exterminated or used to breastfeed the babies. We already know. Okay, if you are, okay, we know there are Nazi Asians, Nazi Chinese, we know there are Nazi Japanese, we know there are Nazis in the Islamic world, we know there are Nazis in North Africa, and I learned just recently there are black Nazis. Okay, so where would, because the Jews like the whole world to think that the Nazis only persecuted them, which is bullshit. Let's say you are from a Masonic order and you don't want to be ruled by the Nazi Templars. What would the Templars do to you?
Well, they will try to kill you, for one thing. They will kill you in the worst possible way, which I'm not going to explain that.
They will tie you to a horse, 4 horses, and pull you until you're ripped into 4. Keep going.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Even worse. Even worse. And
or they will make you into a sandwich where they put, you know, steaks on top of you and steaks below you and then press you down like a sandwich. But go ahead.
But yeah, that's what they would do. And just stay hidden. If other Masonic orders remain opposed to them, stay hidden.
Yeah,
cover your identities.
Yeah.
Go underground if you have to.
Yeah.
And if this does actually come into fruition, I pray it won't, but we really need to start opposing what our governments want to implement, because it's not just they just got rid of TikTok. That's people make money off of there, for a living, for example. And all of a sudden Trump is starting to come in there and as its savior. However, we really have to look at, what their ultimate goal is, because they want to censor our rights. They want to make us slaves. We have to fight back against these people who want to control our daily lives. My advice to you is to keep yourself safe and to make sure is that you are still watching Rionetta's videos, and to make sure you absorb what she's teaching you and what I'm teaching you, and to tell your peers, make sure you know what we're talking about. We are trying to save you. We're trying to protect you, not physically, but through what we're teaching you. We need to start spreading this message. We need to stop this Fourth Reich from even coming, because we will if it does come, we will witness the horrors unknown to this planet.
Okay, great closure. Here is what we're up against. Tonight's video was the Decepticon Mafia. The problem is that those in the alternative community who's supposed to be representing the regular folks, 99% of them are enemies of the people. They are promoting the Fourth Reich, but they're doing it in a way where the people don't understand what they're giving up their power to. They're telling the people the only way to save America is for military takeover, not understanding, now that I'm learning today, that the military will be taken over by the Templars. They're literally saying the only ones to save us is the Templars. That's not how the Templars operate. Are you following? So people, then they're saying in the Truther community, they're not telling the people that Trump was crowned king of the Jews and was given the crown of Jerusalem, meaning that Trump is the head of the Templars. That's what that crown means. And the title is Nazi. They are not telling the people this. Okay, final question, Connor.
Go ahead.
Political enemies. All the people who allegedly persecuted Trump, which never happened, but whatever. What will happen to the enemies, the political enemies of the Templars under Templar military reign?
Well, it's kind of hard to explain because some of them might have different fates, but what I would say is that since the Templars do have enemies, they do have political enemies as well. They would try to kill them, assassinate. They would also try to, some of the Templars, even though some people remain violently opposed. I got it in my notes here. What they would do is try to recruit them. Try to appear as like a new friend. Oh, I love you so much. They would try to do that, and they would say, "Here, why don't you read this for me?" And then they will start changing their mind. They will start brainwashing. They will start using certain frequencies for control. And they would start implementing a technological enslavement. That's what they would do.
Okay, so even the politicians, so if the politicians go against the Nazi, they would come against the politicians, correct?
Yes, but I have to remind everybody that a lot of the politicians in Washington, D.C. are Templars.
Good point. Because Washington Monument is designed. Let me show you Washington Monument from the air, and then we're going to wrap it up, right? Watch this.
Yes.
Because remember, Templar means key. Let me show you Washington Monument to show you that Connor's telling you the truth. The Washington, Washington Monument. Let's look at the aerial view of Washington Monument here. Okay, do you see the key?
Yep.
That's Templar. Okay. That's Templar. So we're fought. People, Trump is not coming to save you. Let me say this again, because I don't want anyone saying to me, you should have told us. Trump is not coming to save you. Trump has two crowns. The first crown is the crown, he's crowned King of Israel, which is called a Nazi. He is given the second crown of the order with which he belongs to, which is the crown of Jerusalem. The crown of Jerusalem is a Templar crown. Trump is a Templar. Protect yourself as best as you can. Be wise and stop letting these people deceive you. Trump is a Templar. His order is a Templar, and he is the king of the Jews. Connor, wrap it up with what you want to tell the people. And this is the symbol of the Templar, which is a key.
All tombs of the ancient kings in Japan are keyhole.
Yep.
So
and the Egyptian.
Yep. So I really have nothing to say because I'm pretty much cleared everything.
Yeah. All right, guys. So, guys, I just protect yourself as best as you know how. Thank you for staying with me for 2 hours and 49 minutes. People, do be careful of these Decepticons. Anyone telling you that a military order is going to save the United States is a liar, a deceiver, and a Decepticon. They are your enemies. They are the enemies of your children. The military is not there to save anyone. The military is there to kill. They're not a saving operation. They are a killing operation.
Folks, all politicians lie, folks. They do it all the time just to get elected. They lie, and then they go back 4 years later. They
lie even more.
They lie again. So,
okay, nothing Trump said he would do in his first term, he did. He's not going to do it in the second term. Now, don't forget, he is the author of Operation Warp Speed. That he will do. I don't care what they say, because, now they're telling me that Trump is going to save us from the Satanists. MAGA is the 5th level of the Church of Satan. Okay? The 5th level of the Church of Satan is called MAGA. I'm not going to open that because I don't want to go to their website. Okay, Trump has 2 crowns, King of the Jews and the crown of Jerusalem. The crown of the Jerusalem is his order. Okay? MAGA are more often used when referring to the members of the 4th and 5th level of Satanism. I am not going to this website. You can if you want. I'm not going there. Okay? MAGA is his rank in Satanism. The crown of Jerusalem is his order in the Templars. And he is the Nazi as prescribed by the rabbis in Israel. Trump is not there to save you. Save yourself. Love you guys. Love each other. This is a nightmare. We're in the 4th Reich starting tomorrow.
See you guys.
Okay. Bye. Love you guys.